All righty. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Saturday's live stream. I hope you guys are having a good weekend so far, and thank you for tuning in. In this live stream today, I will be talking about the important things that you need to do to have an optimized Etsy listing. But before we start talking about that, if you're new here, this is your first time to my channel. I teach you everything that you need to know about print on demand and selling on the Etsy marketplace. So tutorials that will get your shop up and running and to get you to the point where you'll start having daily sales. So make sure you go and check out all my videos. And if you've already watched my videos, go and watch them again because it's a great resource there to help you really optimize your Etsy shop so that you can turn this into a passive income source as well as turn this into possibly a full-time thing if you're willing to stick with it. I'll be sharing my few tips for an Etsy listing. And then after that, I'll be answering any questions that you have. So if you have questions, make sure you add those in the live chat now, and I'll be answering your questions. And I want to help you the best that I can. So I'll be on for 30 minutes. I'll do my quick spill, and then we'll get to the point. Next thing I want to talk about is my Facebook group. It's called Print on Demand Warriors. If you're not in that yet, the link is in the description. It's a great place to be a part of a community, a like-minded community who people are doing the same thing as you, and they can answer questions that you may have. So make sure you jump in there. And I'm in there. I'm pretty active in there answering questions as well as giving daily tips. And right now we're doing a monthly challenge. It's a 4-week challenge to help increase your listing count, as well as there's different bonus challenges that I post once a week. So you want to make sure you're in there because it will really help you take your business off. And the last thing is the challenge that's going on currently. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it and your input and how it's been for you so far. We just completed our first week with that. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. But I see a few people tuning in now. And again, if you're just tuning in, I'll be answering your questions after I share some tips on creating a very optimized Etsy listing. Okay, so I want to talk about how to optimize an Etsy listing to increase sales, to start making daily sales, which is what everyone wants to do. I talk about this a lot, but it's because it is the foundation to a successful Etsy shop. If you aren't doing this, it will be difficult to succeed on the Etsy marketplace. So you have to be doing these things. So I want to talk about the 9 do's of an Etsy listing. And I'm going to go in order of when you are editing an Etsy listing from top to bottom. So if you go edit a listing, I'm just going in sequential order from top to bottom so that you can follow along if you choose so. And before you start with your Etsy listing, the first thing you have to do, it all starts with trend research to create a winning design. You have to be doing your trend research in order to find something that will sell for you. If you're not doing your trend research, if you're not designing things that if you're not designing things that people don't want, or if you're designing things that people don't want, then it will never sell. So you have to make sure you're doing your trend research, and you can't overlook this part. I get this so many times where people will ask me, why am I not having any sales? And a lot of it comes down to they're just not doing trend research and they're designing things that aren't currently trending. So you have to do your trend research. And if you're not exactly sure how to do your trend research, go and watch my 6 free ways to find t-shirt trend ideas. I have a video on my channel teaching you all of the different methods that I currently use to find my own t-shirt trends to add to my Etsy shop. So make sure you check that out. Okay. Number 2 is SEO. You have to have good proven SEO. If customers can't find your listing, it will never sell. You have to be using proven targeted keywords in your title and in your tags for the Etsy algorithm to show your listing in search results when someone searches a specific keyword. And there's several different methods of doing this. And I also have a video on this on how to find proven keywords. It was one of my most recent tutorial videos that I did. So go and check that out. But you have to do this and you can't overlook this. But at the same time, you don't want to make this too complicated. All you need to do is think like a buyer, go onto the Etsy marketplace, see what keywords are trending on the first few pages for your specific niche, and pull keywords from different listings, creating your own title. Never copy pasting another seller's title, just pulling keywords that are specific to your listing. Another important tip with this is using long tail targeted keywords. You need to include most relevant keywords in your title and tags. And this is a quote I want to share that comes directly from the Etsy Help Center. This comes directly from the source, and I think it's important to remember. So it says the most descriptive and relevant keywords for your listing should appear in both your titles and your tags. If a word or phrase in a buyer's search appears in both the title and tags of a listing, the search algorithm considers that listing more relevant than a listing with that word or phrase in the tags or title alone. So you have to include your most important keywords in your title, and your tags are the most relevant ones in order for it to really be optimized to show up in search results for specific keywords. And another thing with your titles, you need to structure them so it's easy to read. So the way I like to structure my titles is I do my keyword, comma, space, my next keyword, comma, space, etc. So have it really clear and easy to read. There's different ways you can break it up, as you'll notice from other Etsy sellers. Just make it a way that's clear for Etsy or for customers to be able to read. And then lastly, with SEO, is you need to make sure you're using all 13 tags. Don't waste these tags. Make sure they're targeted, proven long tail keyword tags, and you're using all 13 because it's another opportunity for you to be found. Okay, number 3, listing photos gets the first click. So you have to be using high quality listing photos, especially your thumbnail photo. But all of your listing photos should be high professional mockups that look really good and your design is placed on it very professionally. I highly suggest to not use Printful or Printify's mockups. Do not use Printify or Printful's mockups. They just don't look as good. And there's much better mockups out there, especially that you can purchase directly off of Etsy. So if you're looking for mockups, just go into Etsy, search the specific shirt that you're selling or the sweatshirt that you're selling. So if it's a Gildan 18,000 sweatshirt, just search Gildan 18,000 black sweatshirt mockup, and you'll see a ton of different options for you. There's a lot of great shops out there. And also, we just dropped a ton of fall mockups in our mockup shop. It's called Malama Mocks. The link should be in the description. We have a whole new fall line, and we plan to add more. And then we're going to be planning to add a ton of Christmas mockups. So make sure you go and check those out. We have some really nice mockups, and I can't stress enough the importance of using mockups. And there's so many nice mockup shops out there. I'm not saying our shop is the only one. A few tips with your listing photos is one, for your thumbnail photo, the one that shows up in search results, you need to zoom in on the thumbnail photo so you can easily read and see the design. This is critical to stand out in search results. Another thing, consider using the video feature to showcase details of product. Maybe order some inventory and take close-up videos of the product, just like of the product quality. They can see the fit of it. You can do these really easy videos on your iPhone or your Android, whatever device you have, just to use that space, because the more the customer is able to see and interact with and have an idea of, the better it is to convert them on your listing. And you got to remember, they're not in the store, they're not able to feel and touch. So you have to do it as much, give them as much visual opportunities to really decide if they want to purchase or not from you. Another thing with your mockups, when you're placing your design on your sweatshirt or your t-shirt, you want to turn down the opacity on the design to make it look more realistic, especially if you're using Over or the GoDaddy Studio. It's now known as GoDaddy Studio. Turn down the opacity slightly so that it looks as if it blends more into the t-shirt or the sweatshirt, so just that it looks more realistic. And if you're using Photoshop, there's other ways to do this to make it warp to the garment or the shirt. So that it just looks realistic. But you want to make sure you're taking this seriously and you're making and creating very high professional mockups so that your customers will they'll be appealing to them in search results. Okay, another thing with listing photos is including size chart and shipping and processing time and any other details a customer needs to know. Utilize the real estate Etsy gives you. So with your listing photos, create a few pictures with shipping times, processing times, as well as the size chart, so they know exactly how your shirts fit. That's the most important part. Number 4, super clear and concise description. Have all necessary info that a buyer needs to know. Things I like to mention in my description are product details and sizing, shipping and production time, care instructions, and then how to place your order. And then lastly, just feedback. So you can just mention, hey, we value your feedback. If there's any issues, please reach out to us before leaving negative feedback so we can make things right, because we want to make things right. Number 5 tip I have for the 9 do's of an Etsy listing is break your shop up into sections and apply the correct sections so it's easy for a buyer to navigate your store. So, notice when you navigate through Etsy shops, you'll see the sections on the left-hand side. You can easily do this on your shop manager dashboard. And anytime you add a new listing, apply that section to that specific listing for whatever category that it's in. So it's very easy to shop through your store. It's a minor thing, a real basic thing, but it really helps streamline the process for customers when they're looking through your Etsy shop. Okay. Number 6 tip I have is pricing. Make sure your pricing is competitive with other POD sellers and you're making a minimum $5 per item. With this, I know there's a lot of stores out there that are selling them super cheap, $10 for a shirt with free shipping. It's because these guys are doing it in house. You can't compete with them, and don't worry about them. Just think of the other POD sellers that are selling their t-shirts in the $19 to $25 range, and you can be competitive with them. And as your listing does better and performs better, you can increase price or adjust price. It's really just an experimental game on the Etsy marketplace. Okay. Another thing with that is consider running a store-wide sale, as it is appealing to customers, especially if they filter items on sale when shopping. So when you're on Etsy, you can easily filter by things that are on sale. If you're not running a store-wide sale, then you're not going to show up in search results. That's the bottom line. So you have to consider these little things that can really improve your opportunities to be found, as well as your opportunity or your to increase conversion. So when I see a store-wide sale or I see a sale on something, it's more intriguing to purchase because it shows sale ends in X amount of hours and you're saving this much money. It's just a good tactic to consider. Um, all right, so number 7 tip is variations. I suggest linking your photos to the specific color. If you're offering more than one color, you do this under variations on your Etsy listing. When you're editing it, it's towards the bottom. Just click link photos and select each color variant to the specific color option. And that way, when they're scrolling through their phone or they pull up one of your listing photos, or when they're in the drop down menu selecting a color, if it's a color that may not be as familiar, like, I don't know, a pink or a sand color or whatever it is, um, or like especially between like burnt orange and autumn for t-shirts, if they pull up that drop down menu, they'll know exactly what color it is and what color they're getting. Okay, it's another little thing to remember for your Etsy listing. Number 8 is free shipping or charge for shipping. Decide what you want to do. There's pros and cons to both. I personally love to offer free shipping just because I personally, when I order online, I like free shipping. I don't like to pay extra for shipping. Um, and build your shipping costs into your price point so that you're still covering shipping technically. And then reasons for why I like offering free shipping is, one, because you rank better according to Etsy, and two, if a customer filters by free shipping when doing their searching on Etsy, if you're not offering free shipping, you won't show up in search results again. So it's just a minor thing, but has a huge difference and makes a huge difference. Okay, number 9, and the final tip for the 9 do's of creating an Etsy listing is the most important one, I think, is consistency. With anything, you have to be consistent in order to succeed. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do consistently. And you need to always be learning, improving, and implementing in order to have success. And as you do that, and as you apply the things I teach on my channel and in my Facebook group, I promise you, you can turn this into a little side income to a full-time income. Just do the things I teach. The reason why I teach them is because it's things that I've learned during the process and have applied and have seen success with, and now I'm sharing them with you. So those are 9 do's of creating an Etsy listing, the things that you need to do. I'm now going to answer any questions that you have. So if you have questions, please throw them up in the live chat. I will be answering those. And if you're finding value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. I post new content every Thursday. Usually every Thursday if plan goes to plan, and then I go live every other week. Okay, so we'll start answering questions. Start asking them in the live chat, and I'll be answering as many as I can for the next 17 minutes or so. All right. So we have, hey, Mikael, I hope I pronounced your name right. Your videos have been very helpful. Thank you for watching and for tuning in. How much do you think your ad budget should be in Q4? If you're referring to doing Etsy ads, it really depends on how your listing is performing. And if you have a listing that's already performing and has gained traction, then you can scale it by spending money on ads. But if not, I suggest focusing solely on SEO, having really good SEO, because you can rank organically and you can sell organically without spending anything on ads. I see a lot of shops, and I've had a lot of success with not even running ads on specific listings and having daily sales, multiple sales without running ads. But your ad budget can be your choice. If you want to start small, $5 a day or $10 a day, and then slowly increase it if it starts to perform well. Just what I do suggest anytime you're messing with Etsy ads, is to always be monitoring them. and seeing what listings aren't performing. If they aren't performing and you're just blowing money on them, I suggest turning it off so that all of your money is not being blown on one specific listing. So just that's my biggest tip for you. I don't know if it necessarily matters. There's no specific or magic number of how much you should spend, but you should monitor them and make sure you're turning the ones off that aren't performing. Hello, what should a new person be working on right now to list? Right now, you should be designing for Christmas. It is Christmas time in a few months. We're at the tail end of fall stuff, especially for Halloween. You're at the tail end. You don't have much time to start designing to rank well for Halloween and then to sell and ship in time. So, right now, you should be focusing solely on Christmas and getting your listings up for Christmas designs. And you can also be doing Thanksgiving, but we are coming to the end of that. Right now, I'd be focusing all of your efforts on Christmas. Okay. Hey, Brennan. If something is selling well, do we copy listing for using same tags, title, etc., and put on a different design? You can do that. It's a strategy to do. With that, though, I would definitely change up your tags and title to see if you can if it may perform better, to see what one works better, and experiment with different tags and titles. Because if you have the exact same title, the exact same tags, you're going to be showing up in the same locations. So I would spread your keywords out so that you show up in multiple locations, and you'll have more opportunities to be found. But to if you with that same thing is if you have one that's selling well, I suggest taking that design that's selling well, putting it on a t-shirt if it's already on a sweatshirt, or put it on a hoodie, or put it on a mug if it's applicable. Just cross that design or sell that design across products to really increase your sale count. And with that, just thinking of ways to tweak the color of it, do a different color scheme, think of ways to apply it to different niches. So if it's like a football mom shirt, think of ways you can change it to like a baseball dad shirt or whatever it is. That was a poor example, but just think of creative ways to take something that's already working and then tweak it slightly because you know it's already working to increase sales with it. Okay, what about Printful update? They will increase your products cost and the shipping cost too. Yep. So if you haven't heard, Printful is increasing prices for some products and for shipping. So I do suggest going and checking that out, seeing what the prices is, and seeing how you need to adjust your prices in your Etsy shop so that you're still making the same profit or the correct profit. But good point. Make sure everyone is aware of that you are adjusting prices accordingly. And it's not a significant amount that they're increasing it, but I would suggest increasing prices a dollar or two, depending on what you are selling. Mary, good morning. Brennan, I noticed that a bestseller had their title word, comma, word with no spaces, and I wondered if this could be a good idea to get in more characters. It's something worth experimenting with, Mary. But for me, I think it looks sloppy and it's just kind of confusing. So I personally like to do the keyword, comma, space keyword. But if you want to experiment with a few listings, feel free. And this goes back to the same question that Relax Zen Nature asked. Consider copy pasting or copying a listing and then maybe do just the same keywords that one is doing well with, and do no spaces and see if for whatever weird reason it performs better. That's a way to experiment, but really it just comes down to experimenting and seeing what works best for you. But interesting. Yeah, you'll see a lot of unique ways that people are doing and it seems to be working, but a lot of it comes down to just the design and that people are liking the design. It has a high conversion rate and it's getting positive reviews. But worth experimenting with, Mary. Great question. Hi, Brandon. When designing for holidays such as Thanksgiving and Christmas, how many designs listings should we aim for? As many as you can. So, as many high quality listings as possible is the best route to take. Um, there's no specific number, but the more you have, the more chances you have to be found, the wider your net will be casted. But if you can get up 50 high quality listings, 100 high quality listings, then 100% do that. Especially now for Christmas. Right now, just hone in on Christmas, get all of your Christmas listing designs up, and just start focusing on that because you only have a short window to sell. So it's just the more you have, the better. There's no magic number. Mary also wanted to ask how many mock-ups with models do you think is too many? I got places and it occurred to me that it might be easy to overdo it, but they're nice. What do you think? My kind of thing I do, Mary, is for however many colors I'm offering. So if I have 4 different colors, I like to have an individual mock-up for each color. So that's just the way I play it. I don't think it's necessary to have more than one mock-up for the exact same color. Um, I mean, it's up to you, but I think the foundation or the main thing you want to do is if you have 5 colors, have 5 different mock-ups with that specific color. You can even intermix it with like 2 of them be flat lays and then 3 of them be model mock-ups. But that's kind of what I do, and that's what I've had the most success with. Okay. I'm wondering if I'm giving too much info in the description. I followed your instructions, but it might be kind of long. So I don't think you can ever have too much information in the description as long as it's all necessary and it's all relevant and it's something that will benefit a customer. Honestly, I think a lot of customers don't even read the description, but it's nice to have it there in case they do want to read it. Because you'll have so many times where a customer will place an order from your store, and then you'll have it very clear in your description, and then they'll reach out to you asking a question, but it was already in your description. So I wouldn't worry a ton about the description, but it is important to have all of the necessary information, which I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream. But if you want to send over your description, Mary, on like in a private message on my Facebook group or on the Facebook group, just like an example, you can do that, and then we can all decide as a community if we think it's too much or how we could critique it. But I wouldn't worry too much about it being too long as it's all relevant and necessary that the customer could benefit from. If only offering one color, do you think putting a photo is important? I've been doing it, but maybe it's a waste of time. So, if you referring to a mock-up photo of that color, if you're referring to like a model mock-up, yes, it's important to have that. Um, I'm not exactly understanding your question, Mary. If you can rephrase it, but if only offering one color, do you think putting a photo is important? I've been doing it, but maybe it's a waste of time. Yeah. If you're talking about a model mock-up photo, it's not a waste of time. The more info you have, the more visual info you have, the better it is for the customer. How long should we run sale? So I always have a store-wide sale running in my Etsy shop. It's my own choice. It depends to you on how you want to do it. What I do is I've set a higher price point for my listings. So for my sweatshirts, if I'm selling them around $33, I'll mark them up and then I'll run a store-wide sale so that they're down to $33. If that makes sense. Um, but it's however you want to structure it, whatever you feel good about structuring it. But I always have a store-wide sale running in my Etsy shop. Again, for those reasons where it will show up in search results if they filter by store-wide sale, or if they filter it by sale, and it just looks more appealing to a customer seeing that it's on sale and that they're saving X amount of dollars. And it's just a strategy to consider. But if you want to just run like a store-wide sale just for a week and then turn it off again, you can. It's up to you how you'd like to do it. But I suggest having a store-wide sale always running. Have you ever sold the Gildan 64,000 in your shop? I have not. I only sell the Gildan 18,000 or the Bella Canvas 3001 t-shirts, and then the Gildan 18,000 sweatshirts and the 18,500 Gildan, the hoodies. But I know people that have success with the Gildans, but it's preference of what you like. I personally like the Bella Canvas better. I think it's higher quality. It's a nicer fit, and it prints real nice. So I personally like the Bell Canvas 2001. And I've never sold the 64,000, but it's worth experimenting with both. I just know I've seen some negative feedback on the Gildans just being kind of boxy and stiff, not the most comfy. But I've always seen really positive feedback on the Bella Canvas, and it's just a really nice shirt. If you've never felt one or have worn one, I suggest ordering some sample orders so you can see it for yourself. Do Etsy ads is good or waste of money? When I run an Etsy ad is when I already have a performing listing, one that's doing well, it's a proven, it's converting really well, then I'll consider scaling it with Etsy ads. But other than that, I would just focus solely on really good proven SEO, using long tail keywords specific to your design, to your niche, and I'd focus more time on that than burning money on ads because it's a great way to just burn through money if you don't have extra money to spend. So that's what's awesome about the Etsy marketplace is you have this massive marketplace with millions of shoppers coming to this marketplace to look for a shirt or t-shirt to buy, and it's all organic traffic as long as you can rank well. And so it's not that's the benefit of this over like a Shopify store is the only way to get traffic to your Shopify store is either through social media or through spending money on ads like Facebook ads or Pinterest ads or whatever it is. That's what I love about the Etsy marketplace is the way you can rank organically and sell without running any ads. Does mugs sell better than t-shirt for Q4? I think it's even across the board. Sweatshirts, I would say, sell the best in quarter four just because it starts to cool off temperature wise, and people like to wear cozy sweatshirts in the winter time. So, yeah, the crew neck sweatshirts, the Gildan 18,000s and the Gildan 18,500s sell really well all year long, but especially in the wintertime. Is it possible to know what tags someone else is using besides the title? So they used to show it in the bottom of the listing, but Etsy no longer shows that. So, but you can guess the title that they're possibly using. There's other tools out there like Allura and other tools that you like eRink. You might be able to do it and kind of spot trend and see what keywords they're using. But I would just really just focus on the keywords they're using in their title to see what they're ranking for. I started out listing the Gildan 64,000 t-shirt because the margin is better to work with, but since you have emphasized the Bella Canvas 3001 being better, I've switched it to it with fewer mockups. Nice. Great idea. All right, if you're finding value in this live stream, please give it a thumbs up and we'll continue to answer questions here for the next few minutes. Can I use VPN to create new shop? I would be careful with doing that out of box. I'm not exactly sure if you can, but I know Etsy's pretty strict on IP addresses, and especially if your shop has been suspended before, it's you just got to be very cautious. I don't know an exact answer for you. I can look into it, but I would be cautious when doing that. Halloween is over. Halloween isn't necessarily over, but it's September 25th. So you really only have probably 2 solid weeks left to design and then to sell for them to arrive in time for Halloween. Because you got to give yourself at least 12 days or 14 days with a big buffer for it to be delivered before Halloween. Otherwise, it'll result in negative reviews. So you got to be careful that way. So it's not over, but you're at the tail end of it. So I would now put more of your efforts into Christmas. Hey, and that's one downside of designing for holidays. It's a great way to make some quick money over a few months, but you can't sell them long term. So you need to have a good balance of holiday designs and then a great balance of your evergreen designs that can sell all year round for you. Because what's nice with the evergreen ones is there's no time crunch with shipping. There's no holiday deadlines, so it can sell all day long and with no issues with customers. Hey, Brandon, what is your top tip for SEO on Etsy? Cheers, Dean. So my top tip for Etsy is to first go and watch my video on how to find proven keywords. I just did it a few weeks ago, and I walk you through how to do that. But my biggest tip is to find proven targeted keywords, specifically long tail keywords that you can rank for, and use those in your title, and then match those in your tags. And then for the rest of your tags, use relevant keywords and make you just got to make sure they're keywords that a buyer would actually search for. So just think like a buyer, don't overcomplicate it. Think, hey, this design, it's a baseball shirt for moms. What keywords would a mom search or someone search to find this specific design? You don't need to overthink it, but make sure you're using proven keywords. I'll see a lot of times in people's SEO where the title is just like individual words. So it'll be like sweatshirt, comma, Halloween, comma, gift, comma, and those keywords you're never going to rank for. They're so general. So you need to do like cute sweatshirt for Halloween is a great long tail keyword that you can be that you could possibly rank for. So yeah, that's my biggest tip. Proven SEO. Think like a buyer. Hi, Brandon. I'm not seeing Gildan sweaters for youth on Printify. Do you know where I can find these to sell? So, youth sweatshirts, especially crew necks or hoodies, are very difficult to find. I suggest reaching out to a local print, like a local print company or a local screen shop near you who could possibly source these for you and print them for you. But it's hard to find them on bigger stores like Printify or Printful. But if you ask this question in the comment section after this live stream ends, or in the Facebook group, Print on Demand Warriors, I could possibly find out some other options for you. But yeah, it's we use some local print shops that help us with odd end items like this when customers order them from time to time. Does it make any sense to make designs for Halloween, or is that run over? So yeah, for Halloween, you can keep designing for Halloween for the next few days, but I would focus all efforts to Christmas for sure. You were talking about variations when I wrote that question about photos. Okay, hold on, Mary. I gotta go back here real quick. So if only offering one color, do you think putting a photo is important? Okay, so for the variations, Mary, if you only have one color, you won't be able to link it to you'll be able to link it to a you won't be able to link your photos if you only have one color. So um, just having the one color option is fine if I'm answering your question right. But yeah, just one is good enough. You don't need to worry about that. What proportion of t-shirts to long sleeve would you recommend right now? Um, Long sleeves, I haven't sold a ton of long sleeves, but they do have a Bella Canvas long sleeve that you could look into selling. But I haven't sold a ton of them. I sell way more sweatshirts, hoodies, and crew necks than I do long sleeves. That could just be because I haven't added them, but I think people prefer sweatshirts over long sleeves. POD designs, if a phrase is live on USPTO but is not registered yet, we can still use the phrase. Technically, yes, if it's not registered but it's live, it's still pending. And so you could technically use it, but I would be careful because you could use it and then that could be registered, become registered, and then you could be hit for it because it is trademarked already. So if you use it with caution, and I'd always follow up and double check with it. All right, my friend. So if you didn't get your questions answered, I suggest tuning into my next live stream, which will be a week. So not the next week, but the following week. And I'll happily answer questions then. If I didn't get to them, you can ask them in the comment section down below of this video or in my Facebook group, Print on Demand Warriors. But thank you so much for tuning in today. It's fun to be able to chat with you guys and to hear your questions and to hopefully help you some. But if you have any questions regarding to your Etsy shop or doing print on demand, go and watch all my videos on my channel. I teach you everything that you need to know to get your shop up and running and to start making daily sales. It's things that I have learned during the process, things that have helped me and benefited me, and things that I'm currently doing. So, highly suggest doing that. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And if you're not in the Facebook group, get in there because we're doing a challenge right now. It's a 4-week challenge, and week 2 challenge will begin on Monday. I'll be posting that on Monday. But if you found value in this live stream, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so that you can know when I am posting new content. But have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy selling. Thanks, guys.